We're going to take a look at number 7 under using properties on page 116 that deals with the transitive property of congruence. And so here it says if we've got two angles that are congruent, F is congruent to J, we're trying to fill in the rest of this statement. If I know F is congruent to J and I know something else is congruent to something else, then F must be congruent to angle L. Well, first we have to understand the transitive property and what that really says so that we can fill this in. Transitive property could be explained something kind of like this. If we're talking about congruence, so we're talking about same shape, same size. So if I've got a square here with the same length of sides, that's a blue square, and it's congruent to this black square with the same side length, same shape, we would say that the blue one is congruent to the black one. Well, if I have the same thing here with a red square congruent to that black square, so I've got the blue that's the same as the black, and now I've got the red the same as the black. If we have these two statements, what the transitive property of congruence says is that from that, I can also say that that red one and that blue one must also be congruent. Because if they're already both congruent, if they're both congruent with the black square, then they both must be congruent to each other as well. Okay, so we're going to use that same logic. That's the transitive property of congruence logic to fill in what we're saying down here in number 7. If angle F is congruent to angle J, and eventually I want to say that F is congruent to L, well, couldn't we say something like this? If F is congruent to J, and I want to say that F is congruent to L. In order to say that, this middle part must be true as well, that L and J must be congruent. Okay, so to finish this sentence here, if F is congruent to angle J, then I've got to say that angle J and angle L have to be congruent with one another. If those two things are true, then I know that will be true at the end as well.